Kita tidak perlu debatkan ini kalau lelaki tidak bikin masalah. Indonesian politics have been characterized as a hush-hush silence. If you want to criticize us, do it in private, text us via WhatsApp, do not publicize it on the participants WhatsApp group, make it in the correct channel, please be polite, use lots of emojis, isolate. Why? They are afraid of visibility. Because visibility sparks discussion, visibility sparks movements, visibility sparks wide-scale creations of critics that threatens their positions as politicians. And this is exactly what we need, and this is what exactly only closing opposition provides. This is how we are going to jump in the debate. I'm not going to make the same mistake again twice, so bear with me, Vinay. Let's talk about likelihood, but also talk about outcome. Because their entire contingent case, by the way, they have no analysis at all. Their only stops, fuck, my alarm is going on. Shh. Okay, so moving forward, they have no case at all. Notice that they have no analysis on how then they will convince the politicians. Who will convince the politicians? How do they convince the politicians? Which politicians? And more importantly, what policies they want to champion. They stop at consolidating power. The question then becomes, can we rely on politicians? This is my first attempt on responding on likelihood. How can we not rely on our politicians? Why? Politics in Indonesia have its positions. Politicians in Indonesia, everyone's position is fragile. Everyone is easily replaceable through scandals and lawsuits that are easily crafted should they deem be want to be removed at that moment in time, for example. Moreover, in this current regime, everything is based on whether Mayor Teddy approves your memo, for example. It's based on how strong your political backing is. And more often than not, political backing is currently political parties or military bodies or sembilan naga that are most, even often than not, against female progressivity in favor of patriarchal society, or at best state egoism, where they portray female virginity test for certain state positions as protecting females. Forcing students in SMA to wear hijab is a protection to make sure that your mazhab or marwah is protected, for example. This is how politicians are shaped, because the moment they are they are out creating anything that is more progressive than that, it's much easier for any other opposing adversaries to pull out the, hey, I think you have scandals here card and remove you from power. This is how every kementerian ever will have its directorate head changes every few years or so. Even if politicians can support you, politicians cannot push anything that favors feminist movement, because pushing your agenda directly threatens their positions. The example coming from Viola is about Nadiem. Look at how Nadiem is disgraced right now. Every single people who supports Nadiem is disgraced and forced out, for example, for a simple pengadaan issue that may or may not be corruption, for example. At best, the output that they, after this, at best the output that they can provide is, at best, testing. It's a policies that are populist. What kind of populism we are talking about? For example, gender quota. Gender quota in parliament exists. Yay, progressive. Is it progressive though? Historically speaking, females in DPR has historical views in favor of A, this virginity test for various positions, B, divorce laws that are severely against women, and other lots of conservative issues. Gender quota is not unpopulist, by the way. It sees like Bhinneka Tunggal Ika and so on and so forth. But more than that, it is put there to strategize various family members in the female politicians in Indonesia, but more often than not, the conclusion here is that female politicians in Indonesia have no autonomy over their votes and the bills that they pass. It's controlled by their affiliated parties that are sponsored by mining and extraction companies that will never go against the Islamist populations. This is why we cannot rely on politicians. The conclusion here is simple. This unfortunate reality is that systematically Indonesian democracy is broken to the core and will never improve and listen to your actual voice. What most important then is what Viola said. It's short-term protection through network building, through actually massively having NGOs reaching out to PKK, reaching out to local grassroots movements to ensure that whenever there is domestic violences, like what Justin told you, there is an active attempt, we are visible. They know which number to call, which WhatsApp to text when these domestic violences happen. Audi.
The problem with your case is that you assume that this very visible social media campaign will help those rural women more than the actual TPKS that is passed indeed by that very imperfect corrupt government, at least we get marginal improvements.
What kind of marginal improvements do you get when TPKS is there but the enforcement is not there? But moving forward, only hopes. But let's frame in what Viola has told you, right? Viola has told you several things. Because if quantity is not a benefit, they never mechanize it. Because no matter how much quantity you have, the question is always which segment that their systematic elitist system can engage. Can ibu-ibu PKK participate in a consolidation of power to create bills of passing? Or is it the influencers like Andovida Lopez and Abigail Imuria, for example? Any hopes of democratic institution improvements can only be done when feminist movement is visible. We are not that progressive yet, unfortunately. The first step that we need to do is to be visible first, to make sure that the ibu-ibu in rural areas know which WhatsApp to call, which network to join, which clubs to participate in, to have them support each other, to make sure that whatever their benefit is, it is contingent on the political capital feminist movement has. That can only be done when our network is a success, when we can be put visible outside there. Especially in a world in Indonesia where everyone is systematically trying to make you not visible, telling media not to portray you and so forth.